So someone just subscribes to your email list. They've entered their name and email. They clicked the button, and then this page pops up, and it says something on it. That page is called the thank you page. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about what you can do with that page. There is so much potential for messaging and guiding a person's next steps. This is a marketing asset you should definitely have. Let's get started. Hey there, this is Corinna Bench, and welcome to the My Digital Farmer podcast. In today's market, it's not enough to just grow your product. You've got to know how to sell it too. Welcome to the My Digital Farmer podcast, where we reveal online marketing strategies and tips to help farmers like you get better and more confident at marketing. Learn how to find more customers, increase your sales, and build a strong brand for your farm. Let's start the show. Well, welcome to episode 315 of the My Digital Farmer podcast. I am your host, Corinna Bench, one of the farmers at Shared Legacy Farms out in Elmore, Ohio. I'm also the founder of MyDigitalFarmer.com, which is all about trying to help other farmers like you get more confident in your marketing and sales strategy so that you can grow a profitable business in the long term. How's everyone's doing today? Happy to be back. Big shout out to all of my regular listeners. I'm really glad you're here. And if you're new to the show, thank you for tuning in today. I hope you get a lot of value out of this episode. If you're new to marketing in general, I encourage you to go listen to the first 10 episodes. I designed them to be an on-ramp into the marketing space. Another great place to go is to get onto my email list, because when you do, I'm going to send you a lot of free resources over the course of 3 months. Maybe like every 5 days, you're going to get an email with a core marketing principle, or I might point back to one of the really important episodes in my archives, or I might share a free resource or an influencer you need to follow or a tool you should have in your toolkit. It's really good. So you can subscribe to that by going to mydigitalfarmer.com/subscribe. Today's episode is sponsored by my friends at LocalLine, the best sales platform built for farms. LocalLine is the most comprehensive software for farmers and food hubs that's out there, selling direct to restaurants, schools, wholesale buyers, running a CSA, and more. With features like e-commerce, automated inventory management, they have subscriptions, a box builder, point of sale, and more. LocalLine helps you grow sales. It saves you time and streamlines your operations. In fact, on average, this is cool, farms that use LocalLine grow sales by 23%, and they increase their average order size by 9.5% annually. So, ready to switch to sales software that does it all? LocalLine has no setup fees, no sales percentages, and your onboarding manager will migrate your storefront for free, so you'll be up and running in no time. As a podcast listener, LocalLine is also offering a free premium feature for 1 year with your subscription when you use my coupon code MDF2025. So to claim it, go to mydigitalfarmer.com/LocalLine and then enter that coupon code MDF2025. Don't wait. Start your season strong with LocalLine today. And now back to the show. All right, everyone. I'm actually really excited to do today's episode because it has been a long time coming. It's been in the hopper for over 40 weeks. I'm just looking at my script here, my list of bullet points that I use to do the episode, and it has the number 259 on it, and then it was scratched out. So this was something that I originally planned on recording as episode 259. And here we are, episode 315. So this has been waiting for a long time. And every time I've looked at it, it's kind of been in the schedule, and then some other topic has seemed more important and has taken precedence. And so I'll bump this down a few weeks. It's just kept getting bumped. And today I was like, no, man, you're getting your day in the sun. So we're talking about Thank you pages. This does not sound sexy at all, but this is actually a really cool element to have in place in your farm marketing because it can open up some doors for your customers. I want to start out by telling a story that's going to illustrate what a thank you page does. When I was in high school, I was known for throwing really fun parties for my friends. Now, not parties like you're thinking. I would have treasure hunt parties. I am not kidding. I would spend weeks in advance writing treasure hunt clues that led all around the city. Well, we lived in Waterbury, Connecticut at the time, so it's not really a huge city. But I would go around trying to identify some clever places that I could hide clues around my community. I remember that one of the clues was that they had to take this VHS video that they found and go locate a video recorder somewhere. And that was up to them to try and solve that problem. Then when they stuck the video into the VHS recorder and played it, it was queued up to a scene in the Indiana Jones movie, in the third movie, where the woman says, "The last time I saw your father, he was in the library." And that's supposed to guide them. They're supposed to have the idea when they listen to that they're supposed to go to the library. And there's another clue along with the VHS that gives them the Dewey Decimal System code, like the book that they have to find in the library. And inside that book was the next clue. I know, I still think that was one of my most clever things ever. But I would do clues like this. So they would have to find their way throughout the community and figure out how to troubleshoot their way to the end. And each clue, when they opened it, would lead them to another place. And along the way, they would have very fun adventures because inevitably something would go awry. I remember there was one time where the team was chased by a bunch of dogs up at a place called Holy Hill, where a bunch of nuns lived. And they were hunting for a clue up there. And they told me later there were these two dogs and they got out of there like barely on time, but they found the clue and they were just like so excited. Anyway, can you hear me lighting up? These were so fun for my friends because they would follow a path. The clue would open up the next door. And when they got there and opened that clue up, it would say, "This is what we want you to do next." And eventually they would find the treasure at the end. The point of this story is that you are always taking your people somewhere. You are always taking your customer somewhere. And when you accept this role as the guide in their journey through your marketing assets, you will turn them from someone who's completely unaware you exist to a regular buyer and eventually a superfan who is singing your praises. And so it's helpful as we are creating our marketing assets and we're building out the marketing message, the communication line, that we're constantly asking ourselves, what happens next for this customer? What do I want to coach them to do now? Now that they have watched this video on my social media and they're aware that I exist, now that they've gotten onto my email list, what do I want them to buy now? After they buy their first offer, what do I want them to do now? What are they going to need to know before they can actually use my product successfully? Right? We're constantly asking these questions as we build out this ideal path that we want them to take. And so today I want to talk to you about something called a thank you page. This is a little bit more advanced. If you're brand new into the marketing world, this is not the first thing that I would be building, but it is a marketing asset that I think you should eventually create. I have a couple of them in my farm business. I'll explain why I have two. You can create multiple ones, but we're going to talk today about what is a thank you page, what does it do, and what are some examples of things you could put onto a thank you page. Where does it live? How do you build them? We're going to try to cover all of this in 30 to 40 minutes, okay? Here we go. So let's start out by explaining what a thank you page is. I know that you have seen these before. Maybe you didn't realize that this is what they were called. But a thank you page is essentially what your customers or maybe your leads are redirected to immediately after they have completed an action. Either they have subscribed to your email list and it's the page that shows up that says, success, you're on the list. Or maybe they have made a purchase on your online store and a page comes and says, success, confirmation of your order. That is a type of thank you page. And the primary purpose of this thank you page is to acknowledge the website visitor's action, whether it was a purchase, whether it was a sign up, whether it was a request for information, whether it was a cancellation of something. There's lots of different actions a person can do online, and you want to just let them know, hey, success, we got your info, we got your request, you landed in the right place, okay? So you build these on your website. They have a unique URL address. So if you wanted to go see a specific thank you page, you could go to sharedlegacyfarms.com/thank-you. I think that's the URL address, at least as of right now. And you could see an example of what my current one looks like. I designed them on my website builder. I have a WordPress website, so I go in and create a page called Thank You Page, and it has a very specific message on it. Now, I have multiple versions of this thank you page, depending on the message I want to send, but you build these once, you design them, you create them, and then you link them to different assets in your sales funnel so that they automatically appear to that new subscriber or to the person who just bought something. And it's a way to deliberately guide the journey of your customer or your prospect, if they haven't bought yet, to make sure that they all get the same information and then they all know here's the next suggested step. Today's podcast is sponsored by Farm Marketing School. All right, farmer, let me ask you something. Is marketing your farm something you actually enjoy? Or does it feel like a constant struggle? If you are like most farmers that I talk to, you are wearing all the hats and marketing always seems to slip through the cracks. Can I get an amen? That's exactly why I created Farm Marketing School. It's an online membership designed to help farmers like you build a simple, repeatable marketing system that actually works. Inside, you'll get bite-sized, step-by-step projects that make marketing easier. Each month, you pick what to work on, like writing better sales emails or improving your website copy or setting up your online store. And I walk you through exactly how you should be doing it. And you're not doing this alone. Every month, we have a live Zoom meetup where you can ask me questions, meet other members of Farm Marketing School, get coaching, and hear what's working for other farmers. It's like having a farm marketing mentor in your back pocket. This isn't some long, overwhelming course. The projects are designed to be completed in under 30 days, so you're making steady progress without it taking over your life. So if you're ready to stop winging it and finally build a marketing system that brings in steady sales, come join Farm Marketing School today. Sign up for your first month and see what a difference it makes. Go to mydigitalfarmer.com/FMS to get started. And now back to the show. Now, what do you put on a thank you page? We're going to spend some time here because there's lots of suggestions. Normally, let's just use the example of a subscribe form. Somebody's filling out your lead magnet to get onto your email list. And after they have submitted their name and email address, a message pops up in a box that says something like, success. Now check your email to go confirm your subscription and you'll be able to get the guide. And I teach how to do this inside of Farm Marketing School in the Lead Magnet Challenge project. So I'm going to kind of do big picture here. in this episode, but the step-by-step is inside of Farm Marketing School if you want to go and learn how to do that. If you don't know about Farm Marketing School, you can go learn more at mydigitalfarmer.com/FMS. And during the month of June, we're actually focusing all on the social media plan, how to build our social media plan. So we're doing that as a 14-day live social media challenge. It's super fun. That's not related to thank you pages, but I just want to make you aware that that's happening right now. Okay, so normally this is what a simple subscribe form message would say, right? Success, go check your email to confirm your subscription, and then you'll be able to download the guide. But what if that thank you page could say something more? What if you could design additional messaging on that page? Because you do need to say that to coach them to go and actually open their email and click on that button so that they get added to your email list. But what if you could say more to pull that lead into the next step, or even to show them what is possible, what's coming down the pike? So today I wanted to open your mind to see what else is possible with a thank you page, and to share some ideas for content that you might consider adding to that page. So let's talk about the benefit of a thank you page. First of all, you have a captive audience. This person has just decided to either buy your product or they're interested in your brand because they wanted to subscribe to your list. So it's a natural opportunity to give a customer something that pleasantly surprises them and precisely fits what they want next. So how do you know what your customer wants? Well, they just told you exactly what they want by following whatever that call to action was in this previous step, whether it was, I want to buy that chicken bundle, or I want to get that CSA tips and tricks guide, which lets you know they're kind of interested in your CSA, right? So you have to look at the step they just completed as you're building out this thank you page, and you ask yourself, what would be the natural next step? And that's not something that I can tell you. I cannot get into your head and say an exact next step. You have to analyze your sales strategy and think that through. And we're going to talk about some examples in a minute, don't worry, but you may find that you try one out and it doesn't really work that well. That's okay. A lot of this is trial and error. We play in the sandbox to figure out the optimal way. And then you do a second trial, try a different step and see if that one takes better, right? So for example, a person subscribes to my What's in a CSA Box guide, which is one of my lead magnets that leads people into the CSA funnel. And once they do that, what does it say on the thank you page? Well, I'm going to it right now. Let me look at it. Okay, so on the thank you page, it says, first of all, woohoo, one more step to get on the list. Okay, that's the headline. And there's a picture of Kurt holding some cabbage, I think, and looking right into the camera. And he's smiling and he looks really friendly. And it says, go find our confirmation email in your inbox once you open it and quote unquote confirm you actually wanted to subscribe. You will be automatically added to our farm's email list. And if you decide later that you want to stop getting emails from me, you can always unsub. Okay, so that's kind of the first pancake message here on this page. If they keep scrolling a little bit, the next section says, want to pre-order our farm's produce in our weekly online store? That's the headline. And then under that, it says as a subheadline, see what's currently in stock by clicking on the button below. Get 10% off your first order in our online store when you spend $10 or more. Use coupon code WELCOME1025. And then there's a button that says shop online store. And underneath that is a beautiful picture of purple broccoli. Wow, that's gorgeous. Okay, so that is a second offer. Do you see that? So at first it gives them information like, hey, in order to finish getting on the list, you actually have to go and open an email. So they have to make sure I communicate that. But then I don't just leave it at that. I have a second offer. I have an offer underneath that says, well, while you're here, did you know we have an online store and that you could actually go shop it right now? And here, I'm going to give you an offer to get 10% off your first order to try and entice them to actually now spend money with me. Because I know that that's the next step. I've gotten them on my email list and I've built a little bit of trust. I know that a nurture email sequence is going to start dropping stuff into their inbox over the next 10 days to make them know, like, and trust me even more. But I might as well just try to get them to do the next step, which is to actually spend a little bit of money with me. And all they have to do is spend $10. That's a low dollar amount. And I'm going to give them 10% off. The minute I get them to spend money the first time, I've overcome that huge hurdle of actually investing money with me. And then it's a little bit easier for them to spend the second time, right? So I know that. I know my next step in this journey is to coach them to buy something at a low dollar amount from me. And that's why that is on my thank you page, okay? Now, your thank you page next step may be something else. And I'm going to go through what some of the options are here in just a second. But I want you to just start to imagine, what could this look like for you? After someone follows your call to action, it takes them to step 2 in their journey. And what is step 2 for your typical customer? Okay. Now, I think there are 2 primary areas to consider building thank you pages around. The first one would be if a customer actually makes a purchase on your site. If you have the ability to set up some kind of a trigger, or maybe this means that you have to build a Zap, which is a special tool, a special app that will connect your e-commerce platform with some of your other apps. But maybe it means that you send a person after they purchase a very specific item. It could be if they purchase anything for the first time, or it could be your typical gateway product. You send them to a thank you page, a confirmation page that has an opportunity to add value through additional resources or content on that page. And that's going to build trust. It's going to delight the customer. Maybe it asks them to buy the next thing in your funnel. Maybe it's a cross-sell, right? If you liked this, I know you'll love this. This is the next thing you should try next week. Here's a coupon code to go do that. So for example, if you have you send somebody to your online store, they purchase a whole chicken from you, or maybe some chicken breasts. That's probably your gateway item. And on the thank you page, you then deliver a coupon code that says, use this for your next order. And it only works if they purchase your Best of the Farm chicken cuts package. And that has a higher average order value. Maybe it's got a code like welcome chicken or something. And then it only works if they buy that particular product. And now you've just gotten them to want to explore additional products in your chicken product suite. Okay. Another place that I think thank you pages work really well is not just on the back end of purchasing their first product, but as an opportunity to provide leads who have just joined your email list with their next steps. So in my case, I shared one with you where a lead downloaded my CSA Right For You ebook. That tells me they're interested in CSA, but on my thank you page, I then pitched how I also have an online store and they can purchase from that too in the meantime. And so that's why I've got a special thank you page that communicates that. But you could also maybe share a link on that kind of a page to maybe your CSA membership information page. Maybe you have a whole sales page all about CSA and how it works. And that's where it takes them as the thank you page, so they can read up on exactly how they could go about buying a CSA. Or maybe you want to take them to a page that has testimonials about that product. And that's all that lives on that page. And they can just read 5 testimonials about different CSA members who have loved the CSA. Maybe each testimonial is chosen and curated because it focuses on a different value or benefit of being in the CSA. And you write the copy in such a way that it communicates that really well. I was thinking about all of you who are meat producers out there, and I know one of the ideas I've shared on this podcast a lot is to train your customers or potential customers about how cut sheets work. If you want people to buy meat in bulk, I think one of the barriers to moving someone through that process is that they just don't understand how it works, and they're confused about what is a cut sheet, that there even is a cut sheet. What should I choose in my first time through a cut sheet? I don't even know. Someone just give me the first time around, just give me a suggested cut sheet. What is the butcher going to ask me when I call them? What are you going to ask me if you're curating that process, right? It's just a little scary, and nobody wants to look stupid in front of their farmer. And so I have always had this idea, like if I were selling meat and I wanted to give a sample cut sheet as a lead magnet, then on the lead magnet thank you page, I might actually have an embedded video that explains how to actually fill out this cut sheet, where I would walk through a sample. And so that's an example of how you could actually place instructions for how to use the thing they just got from you in the prior step so that they're more likely to take action on it. I've also seen it done for me where I've shown interest in a training of some sort, or maybe I purchased a low dollar thing from an influencer, and then they explained how to use the thing I just purchased on the thank you page. And it was sort of like a welcome and I'm so excited you did this. And they affirm my purchase and say, you are going to learn so much. I'm so glad you did this. Hey, make sure you go do this in the next 3 days. And I'm going to send a follow-up email in 3 days to see if you've done it, right? Like there's just this coaching rah-rah moment that celebrates what the action that I took and then says, I'm going to follow up with you in a few days. So accountability, right? So those are just kind of two like no-brainer places I think you should potentially build thank you pages around. The after somebody makes their first purchase and after somebody gets onto your email list. So what do we actually put onto a thank you page? And this is where you may want to come back later and get out your pen and paper and write some of these ideas down as a checklist. I'm going to go through them real quick. You do not have to put all of these things on your thank you page. I want to be really clear about that, because if you put too many things on the thank you page, it overwhelms them. It's like the person suddenly feels like they have 5 things they have to read or do, and you want to keep it simple. You want to show them, hey, these are the stones that go across the creek that get you to the other side, and I'm going to show you the next 1 or 2 stones. I'm not going to show you all 7, because then you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's too many steps. Okay, so here's just a quick list of things that could be on your page. Number 1 is your logo. Hopefully you have your logo kind of in standing form on your website anyway, in the top left corner, so you don't really have to do a whole lot there. Potentially a picture of you or your product that's visually pleasing. This helps build product awareness. So like on our thank you page, I always try to have a picture of Kurt or myself staring into the camera so that there's eye contact. That builds trust, and that it's a good picture, that we look friendly, not grumpy, like we've been out in the sun and we really want to go inside and hang out in our house and sleep. Like not that photo, the one where you're like looking full of energy and called to your vocation. Okay. Another idea, what to put on a thank you page as you design it, is a basic, we got your info message, right? Like, woohoo, you're on the list. That's a really key piece for the subscribe form step. If you have a double opt-in as kind of your format, your default setting in your email service provider, like I do, a person has to opt in kind of twice. The first time is when they officially fill out the form, but they don't actually get added to my email list unless they go and actually open the confirmation email that kicks out and click the button inside. And that's just to make sure that I don't get a bunch of spam emails on my list. Good idea. But I have to often coach people to make sure they go do that. Sometimes they have to go find it in their spam folder because it doesn't always go into the inbox anymore. And so I sometimes have to coach that information on this thank you page to make sure they know, hey, if you want this guide, it's not going to download to your device until you actually go open that email. So that is a message that I will always make sure is on my thank you page near the top because I really want people to get onto my email list. But I will also sometimes say something like, hey, if you decide later that you want to stop getting emails from me, you can always unsub. Like, I want to just build trust and let them know that I am on their side. Okay. The fourth thing is some kind of call to action button. So this is where you would have to brainstorm, like, what is it that you want them to do next? Now, we do want them to go check their email and confirm their subscription if this is a thank you page that fires after they've subscribed, right? But if you want them to go like watch the video that you've embedded underneath, you need to have a big bright button that says, watch this, or here are your next steps. What might be the prompt, or listen, watch for your next steps, listen for your next steps. If you want them to shop a specific first item, maybe you have shop online store or pre-order now, or maybe you actually tell them the thing you want them to shop first, like get your chicken bundle here, right? Claim your coupon code here. What is the specific step? And that's what's going on the call to action button. Number 5 would be a link to the download that they subscribe to right there on the page. Or if they want to subscribe to be able to watch a video, maybe the video is living right there on the page and they have the option to watch it. Now, before I say this, I want to put a caveat here and say this can bite you in the butt if you're not careful. I have seen this done, so that's why I'm bringing it up as an option. But I've always been curious as to why influencers that I follow do this. Because here's the thing, if you give them the thing that they wanted to subscribe for, if you give it to them on the thank you page, then they don't have to go and click and open the email and click on the button to actually confirm their subscription and get the download that way, or get the link to your video that lives on YouTube that way. And then they don't actually get onto your list. So you don't get what you need from the transaction. So just be careful about that. That's why I kind of think it's better to put the freebie, the thing that you offered them, on the other side of the second kind of double opt-in confirmation email. So maybe here I'm just kind of thinking out loud. So maybe after they've confirmed their email, they've gone and clicked on the button that says, yes, I really do want to be on your email list, right? I'm confirming this email. Maybe when they click on that, you could also send them to the thank you page where maybe that video lives. Okay. So it's just a thought. All right. Number 6, ideas, things you could put on this thank you page design: social media links and prompt them to follow you. Number 7, social proof. So maybe you have a couple of testimonials that you've put on that page. That's just making them be like, wow, other people really like this product. I'm in the right place. It could be statistics or awards that you've won. Anything that just creates more certifications and trust and buy-in, okay? Number 8 is your phone number, your Google map, your Google location. If the next step is that you want them to come to your farm stand, make it easy for them to find where you are. Put the Google map right there. Put the Google directions. Put the phone number. Number 9 is an upsell or a cross-sell. Is there something you could pitch here? What is the aligning offer? What is the obvious next thing they should buy? And then if you're going to do that, I would even encourage you to put a coupon code so that they have an incentive to use that code to actually go buy that thing. And then your call to action is taking them to that specific item's URL, that product page URL in your online store. I know Local Line gives you the ability to do that, not just the URL to the Local Line store or price list, but to the specific page of the item you're trying to cross-sell them to. Don't make it hard for them to find it in your huge inventory. Just take them right there and they can add it to their cart, and then they've got the coupon code ready to go. Number 11, if you have a rewards program, you could hint at that on your thank you page in the design. If you have a list of resources, or maybe there's a blog that you've written that has alignment with whatever it is that they just did, and you know that if they read this blog, it would really help them. So for instance, I haven't done this, but I'm just having an idea. I have a really awesome download, which is the beginner's guide to canning equipment for people who want to get into canning. I know that the first hurdle for them is often to figure out what equipment do I even need to get. They're so confused by that. And so I have this guide that shows them all the things they might need to can. It's linked up to affiliate links on Amazon. And then what I could do is on the thank you page, I could maybe link them off to a blog post that walks them through, okay, here's the very first thing that you should can, and here are your step-by-step instructions for how to go about doing it, right? So that would be a really helpful piece of content. Now that somebody has this guide, their next question is, okay, now what? Like, what's the first recipe you recommend I do as a beginner? And I would be able to hold their hand and take them to the next stone in the creek. You catching that? Okay, so sometimes it might be a blog post or a resource like a video that shows them the step-by-step process. Here, I'm going to actually show you how I can strawberry jam, and you're going to watch me do it, and you can do it alongside me. Number 13, what they need to know next. What are their next steps? What I wrote down here on my checklist here was a restaurant reservation. So I've seen restaurants do this where if you've ever gone to, I think it's called Open Table, and you've made a reservation for a restaurant, they'll, after you reserve, the confirmation page that comes up will say, great, here's the time we have you down for, how many people. We need you to come. Then there'll be instructions, right? It'll maybe include like, here's where the directions are. We need you to show up 5 minutes early, or make sure you XYZ, or here's where you'll meet us, right? It basically maps it out. Or, hey, if you decide that you don't want to come, please cancel. It'll just gives your next step instructions. So that's another opportunity, depending on what your business looks like. What do they need to know? So if it's a you pick reservation, maybe you've got some information on that page, like, this is what you need to bring in order to have a good experience. Or here's what we're going to have ready for you. If you're going to try to pitch them some additional bulk strawberries, like maybe you should hint that you'll have that available. And if they want to bring some cash, they can do that. Or if you're going to have a photo booth, tell them that. And so they can get ready and be prepared to take a really cute photo, right? Whatever. What do you want them to know is coming next so they can prepare if there's something they need to prepare? Or what do they need to bring in order to have a good experience? Okay, number 14, a reminder of the offer they just purchased and what to expect next. I feel like I just said that, but I have another example here. Let's say that they booked a telephone consult with you to go through how to purchase a half hog. And maybe on that thank you page, you have a brief paragraph that says what they should expect to discuss on your call, what they need to perhaps bring to that call so that it can be helpful for both of you. I've had this happen whenever I've done one-to-one calls. It's really helpful because sometimes you're like, what exactly are we going to talk about on this call? And so if you just briefly say, hey, here are the 3 things we're going to discuss. I'm going to want to know XYZ. So maybe you can be thinking about this so that we actually have a helpful conversation. A couple more. Number 15, if customers can create an account on your site, but also have the option of checking out as a guest, the confirmation page is a great opportunity to prompt a free account creation. So if they haven't actually taken that step yet, they checked out as a guest, that could be something that you offer. And then finally, any other important details. Maybe it's answers to frequently asked questions. This is sort of like the thing I talked about with when they got onto the UPick reservation. If you want to put some FAQ answers on that page, or maybe it's a add to calendar, like a little button they can push so that it gets added to their Google Calendar and they don't forget that they signed up. Okay. All right. So whatever you do, make the next steps in the buyer or the user journey obvious, make it clear, make it exciting or desirable, make it value driven, and Don't have too many of them. Don't want to have too many steps. Okay, thank you page examples is my next section here. I want to just, again, briefly remind you of some examples of things that could become thank you pages. Number one is a contact form completion. You know how when people come to your website and you have this section that says contact us, they go and they fill out the form. Maybe they typed a little email to you. What does the page that comes up after they submit that email through your contact form, what comes up? There's an opportunity for you to sculpt a message and include a next step. Number two is the lead magnet or the resource download thank you page. We've already talked a lot about that. Number three, a purchase confirmation page. Number four, an appointment, a one-to-one call booking. Number five is some kind of a reservation, an RSVP. Maybe it's for a farm event or a UPIC. Number six is a newsletter subscription thank you page. So this is a little bit different than a lead magnet download. This is where you're just trying to get them on your newsletter subscription. You don't actually give them anything. They're just getting onto your availability list. Number seven, a cancellation page. So if they actually go and maybe cancel their subscription to your weekly CSA membership, could you have some kind of a message on the confirmation page that doesn't just say, we're sorry to see you go, but that maybe gives them another opportunity to buy from you in a different way? Or maybe it's a downsell offer like, hey, are you sure? Keep going for another month for 10% off, right? Like, what can we do to entice them to either stay, change their mind, or pause their subscription for just a couple months and then restart? Or, hey, here's another type of product that you might like instead if you're not into the weekly subscription thing. Why don't you try this? I also want to bring up here, because this doesn't always occur to people. I know it didn't for me when I first learned about thank you pages, but you can make individual thank you pages for each of these different scenarios, or you could make 1 to 2 that serve as collection areas for different kinds or categories of calls to action. I'm going to try and flesh out what I mean by that. So, for example, I have lots of CSA lead magnets. I want to say I have 4. I don't have a individual thank you page for each of those 4 ones because they're all kind of similar. Instead, I made one thank you page for people that come through the CSA funnel and go through one of these 4 CSA lead magnets. They all get funneled to the same thank you page message that's for people that are interested in CSA. It's the one that I was talking about at the beginning of this episode where I kind of say, hey, thank you for joining. And then I'm like, did you know we also have an online store? Okay. But I might also create another thank you page, landing page for people who subscribe to my canning guide, right? It might have a slightly different message on the end, like, hey, here's your next step as a potential canner. Or I could make a different thank you page for a person that is just interested in getting onto my store email list. Maybe that one is letting them know, did you know that I have this thing called a CSA? Maybe you want to try my 4-week sampler, and I can introduce them to the trial membership. Do you see that? So you can make different thank you pages and just link them up to the different funnels. You could have multiple lead magnets that all funnel into the same one. This is where you have to get a little bit strategic. But I would just encourage you to start with one as you're dabbling in the thank you page space. And I would choose the one that either feels the easiest to start with, or the one that would lead to the greatest profits for you, which is the one that's going to make the most money. That's the one I would start with and test it out and see if it's working before you start going crazy and building all kinds of thank you pages everywhere and making a lot of complexity. Now, how do you actually make a thank you page? I know some of you are asking that question. Well, you can build them in a few different places. First of all, I encourage you to build it just on your website as its own special page. You could build it inside of your email service provider. Some email service providers provide that opportunity to create a thank you page. You could create it in Canva and link people off to there, or you could build it on a landing page builder. Lead Pages is one that I like. I'm actually an affiliate for them, mydigitalfarmer.com/lead pages. And that allows you to build all kinds of sales pages, thank you pages, subscribe forms, and then you would just link up to the Lead Pages platform. I want to encourage you to use a naming convention as you name your pages. Sometimes you'll see the phrase TYP for thank you page, or I'll actually name it thank you, and then whatever the topic is, thank you online store, thank you CSA, to help me know, oh, that's the page that's at the end of that kind of funnel for that product line. And when you build your subscribe form inside of your email service provider for your lead magnet, in the process of doing that, it will ask you, where do you want to direct people after they subscribe to this form? This is actually one of the steps in building the tech of that. And that is where you will then insert the URL of the landing page that you built, of the thank you page that you built. You'll just put it in that form field, you'll hit save, and then you go test it and make sure you try to subscribe and see if that's actually where you get sent. Now, if your mind is sort of like confused right now, all of this is taught inside of Farm Marketing School. I have tech, videos that walk you through the whole process step by step. You just look for it inside of the Lead Magnet Challenge project. But it's actually pretty simple to do. You can also go into your email service provider, look in the library, or contact someone on support there and just say, hey, how do I do this? Where does this go? What I love is that you can actually now go and look at your Google Analytics and track the metrics, like how many people actually ended up landing on that thank you page. You can see the numbers, and you'll know that if it showed up as a number there, they actually subscribed and successfully landed on the landing page, right? If you run a Facebook ad for a very specific offer and you want to see how it's doing, maybe your Facebook ad is delivering a certain coupon code, okay? And that coupon code is only in that Facebook ad. That's the only place it's ever being delivered to the wide world. Well, you can actually build a specific thank you page, a copy of your thank you page for that specific offer. And then you'd be able to track how many people used that coupon code or went through it and landed on this page because it only showed up in that ad, right? So it's a way for you to kind of track which ads are actually performing well for you. That's kind of a fun little hack there. Now, don't forget to go and check up on your thank you pages from time to time. I just did this partly because I was doing this episode. I'm like, you know what? It's been a while since I've looked at them. What do they even say? And I did have to update some copy. I realized, you know what? It's that time of year. I'm recording this near the end of May, and we're switching from our off season into our busy season where the online store is really kicking up. My CSA is essentially sold out. I really don't want to be pitching that anymore. So I want to change the language on some of these pages to take them to different places. And so I kind of realized, wow, I need to make sure that I'm doing this at certain times of the year. So maybe every quarter, or maybe it's every month, depending on how busy your farm schedule is, what your promotion calendar looks like. This might need to be something that's in your regular workflow, that you are going and checking on the content of your thank you page and you're updating it. Maybe you're updating it every week. Like if you're trying to encourage people to take different kinds of offers, or you're creating different offers every week, then you might need to go change that information on your thank you page on a more regular basis. So here's your homework for this episode. I have kind of two suggestions. The first one is a whole lot easier. Let's start with the easy lift. I want you to go subscribe to something from another business, and I just want you to notice the thank you page design. That would be probably the easiest thing that you could do to start dabbling in this space, is just start to become aware of the thank you page, that there is this thing called the thank you page. This is a marketing asset used by businesses everywhere, and just start paying attention to how people are using them. Some people are using them really well, and some people are not. And you will notice that now that you know what's possible, you're going to start to just get ideas. I feel like most of the time, most businesses are not optimizing their thank you page. They're not really maximizing its potential. Every now and then you're going to run into a business that has got a couple of really cool things on their thank you page that I'm just like, wow, this person obviously knows about what this asset could do. So just notice. Notice that, oh, there's not much here. Notice that. If there's a lot of stuff on there, but there's too much and it's cluttered, notice that. If it's that Goldilocks zone, just right, pay attention to what draws your eye. What were you attracted to? Why do you think it's a good thank you page? And that might help you move forward to the next step, which is to actually make your own. You're going to get ideas when you start looking around at what other people are doing and not doing. You're going to get ideas for how you can design your own. And so I would say make your first thank you page be really simple. Maybe it's just got your logo on it, a picture, a short "we got your info" message with next steps, and one other call to action button. What is the next step you want them to take? That's at a very basic level. And try building that thank you page on your website. Grab that URL address, connect it to the step before, whether it was they purchased an item in your store or they subscribed to your email list. And just let it run for a couple of weeks and see if you notice an uptake in that next step that you wanted people to take. Remember, you are always taking your people somewhere. So don't wait until that first nurture email that you've written in your email sequence to guide them to their next steps. You can start right away. How can you delight your customer? How can you surprise them? How can you entice them with content on your thank you page? Maybe you can equip them and make them feel more confident and trust you and know, oh, this is how I'm supposed to use this. What can you do? What is possible with the message on that thank you page? I want you to think outside the box, go play in the sandbox, and show me what's possible. All right, that's all I got today, my friends. Thanks for listening in. This was episode 315. If you want the show notes, you can go to mydigitalfarmer.com/315. And if you liked today's episode, please share it with a farmer. Take the link, copy and paste it, and text it to someone that you know. Make more people aware that I exist. I would just love to spread the word. Or go leave me a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps more people find out about this podcast. If you want to get onto my email list to get more farm marketing tips, I have an entire journey to guide you through, and I'm going to turn you into a marketing maven, my friend. So you just go to mydigitalfarmer.com/subscribe, and I will hook you up. And if you decide you don't like what I'm teaching you, you can always unsub. I am on Instagram at mydigitalfarmer. You can also follow my farm at Shared Legacy Farms. And I've got so many cool pieces of wisdom to share this with you this summer. I hope you'll tune in and follow me there. Remember, I'm also inside of Farm Marketing School. We are all about the social media challenge in the month of June, building our social media calendar and our system, our content system. So we're making that process easier and more repeatable every month. It's going to be so good. As of right now, I'm still in the process of planning it because it's the end of May, but it's starting in just a few days. And so I can't wait. So I hope you join us inside there. You can go to mydigitalfarmer.com/FMS to join the fun. Thanks for joining me today. Have an amazing week. And remember, I believe in you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.